Hey folks, I'm Coach John back here again to answer your questions that you may have for the upcoming run and triathlon events for the Trifecta series. Thanks so much for submitting all your questions, and we've picked the top 5 to answer today, so let's get right to it. And first up, we have a question from Wayne Ng. And Wayne asks, does regular training rides on a mountain bike improve power and efficiency on a road bike, especially on a much lighter carbon one? Well, Wayne, typically if you do your training on a mountain bike, the power and efficiency that you build will transfer very nicely over to the road bike. However, if you're going to be racing on a road bike, it's good to spend a good percentage of your training on that bike as well, so that you build the confidence, okay, the efficiency, and the power that you need to race on that steed as well. And next up, we have a question from Erman, and he asked, if you have only 8 weeks to train, how would you plan to do it? Well, 8 weeks is not a whole lot of time, and in future you want to start earlier. Ideally, you want about 12 weeks to prep for an event like this. With that being said, there are ways to maximize your time and your training, but you have to be careful not to progress it too rapidly, otherwise you run the risk of getting injured, which is what we want to avoid. Because you have less time, you should focus on building your aerobic base and strength endurance by doing low intensity training and incorporating hills along the way. The third question comes from Zhen Qiang, and he asked, what is the ideal duration in percentage between 3 training segments, and what shall we focus on more? The ride, run, or the swim? Zhen Qiang, the ideal percentage depends on a number of things, including your current fitness level, training histories, strength, weaknesses, and where you are in the season. For the most part, a balanced program across the sports is best. However, if you are particularly weak in a certain sport, you may consider doing periods of focused work during your off-season. Next up, we have a question from Ben Tay, and he asked, what pace should you be doing during the race? Should you be monitoring your cadence, average speed, power output, or heart rate to determine a good pace that will leave you in good shape for the run? Ben, the ideal pace for a long distance event would be one that's conservative at the start, and you build your way throughout the race and finish strong at the end. Most often, people start too fast and they end up blowing up, which is not the ideal strategy. By using the metrics that you mentioned earlier, these can help you to control the intensity at which you're racing and also have you not racing too hard too soon. Last but not least, we've come to the winning question, and it's from Sarah Tan. And Sarah asked, I've got issues with time for training for the bike segment. What would be a good distance to train for a long ride and a short interval session for the Olympic and sprint distance? Well, Sarah, your specific bike training would depend on several factors, such as training history, current fitness, time availability, bike skills, and your goals for the event. Without knowing this, it's hard for me to offer specific advice. However, intervals won't add much value to your ability to ride well at this stage. Focus instead on getting in weekly long rides of up to 2 hours, and then spend your additional time either riding hills or doing big gear training to improve your strength endurance. All of these sessions should be done at a comfortable aerobic pace, meaning that you should be working out your legs and not your lungs. Thanks for submitting your questions, and I look forward to the final video in the coming weeks. See ya!